Welcome. This is chapter 35, believe it or not, of World's Longest Suicide Note. I am Roger, and I am suicidal. At times, sometimes it feels like all the time. But what I'm not is some kind of mental health professional. So there you go. So what are we going to talk about today? Had an interesting question from somebody who I met earlier, coming from the perspective of like, how do you live with somebody who's mentally ill? And as we're talking, I'm just going to start like putting some layering on some color here. I mean, it feels like really cool. Feels like chunky. I'm getting away from my topic here, but yeah, this is going to be a kind of a challenge because I usually like to know what I'm painting. Have an idea of what it's going to look like at the end, but I have no idea. This is going to be something. I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, just sitting here and throwing some color on. I mean, I kind of dig it, but it's definitely not something that I'm used to doing. I don't have a way to judge if this is where I should be, if this is and that's a good thing, I think. Not knowing exactly how it's going to turn out or how it's even going to look. Sometimes that's a good thing to do, is just to put yourself in a position where it's uncertain as to the outcome. And then we'll just move forward and hope that at the end of the day, if it doesn't look good, I don't care. I mean, my self-worth is not tied up into this thing. So, anyway. Yeah, so the question I had, how do you live with somebody who's dealing with mental illness or has mental illness challenges? And it was a really good question because made me think, because I don't I have special needs children who are autistic, and that's a different situation than mental illness. But I know what it's like being involved in that regard. But at the end of the day, mental illness is a far different thing, and I think that it should be said at the beginning of this that we don't get to choose what we deal with. I mean, it is predetermined. I was born with it, and I live with it. So while we don't get to choose whether we have to deal with it or not, what we get to choose is how we deal with it, and the way that we handle that's what we get to choose. If anything, that's it. Is we get to choose our response to that. So my answer was, because this individual obviously is struggling in the role of living with somebody who has some kind of mental illness, and it's really hard because I've been there on the other end, where you're basically in bed the whole time, or you've cocooned yourself off against the world, But in doing that, you also cocoon yourself off against everyone that cares for you, that loves you, that wants to, do what they can. And so, and it puts also, as a caregiver role, it puts you in a bad position. Because if you bring something up, if you say, well, you need to do something, well, that's not when I'm in my, depressive state, that doesn't help me. I mean, it does, but I don't want to be challenged. I don't want to be put in a position where I feel like I have to do something, and so it's very frustrating to be the caregiver or and I don't want to make it sound like, because I don't require a caregiver. I do a lot of my own caregiving, and so I don't have somebody and I would never put somebody in that position where their job was to manage me, and so, I mean, I probably did that earlier in my journey, but I really try to not do that now, because it's not fair to anybody to put them in that position. And at the end of the day, my mission statement, my vision statement, or whatever my operating system, whatever, it's up to us, the mentally ill, to take care of ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean we have to do it all ourselves. We have to carry all our water. We have to do. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we have to take an active role in our lives, in our treatment, in our recovery, in our self-care, in the things that we say and do every day. We need to have an active role in that, not just sitting back and shutting the world out, because the thing is, it's more than just the world we're shutting out. We shut out our family, we shut out our friends, we shut out people who want to be resources and want to help us. We push them away, and part of it is because we do not know how to have them help us. I mean, if our leg was broken, we would be able to say, yes, could you bring me that, or could you help me get out of the seat, or what? That is a situation where you really, it's obvious what the caregiving responsibilities are going to be. With mental illness, I mean, there is no such guidance. Nothing's written down. Nothing's, because everyone is so different, and everyone's illness is so different. You have to expect that you probably won't know what you're walking into, and the thing is, we want somebody to take care of us. The other day, when I was walking, we just had a rainstorm, and I was walking, and there was a worm that had fallen onto the street from the grass, and it was having a rough time of it, and it was just laying there, squirming, dirty, and I mean, just didn't look happy at all. I mean, it's a worm. How can you tell? But in my mind, the worm was not happy, and so I picked the worm up and I put it in a nice little piece of little area that I think would be I'd be happy there if I was a worm. And sometimes that's what we want. We're sitting there waiting. We're laying in the street. We're dirty and we're like just laying there waiting for someone to pick us up and put us somewhere better. And, I just thought, but how could we tell somebody that? It's super hard. Not only can we not really explain how we think and feel, and then we expect people to be there and be able to play an active role in our existence without any kind of input, or because when we're and really the input that we give is we could be dicks about it because we expect things. We expect that this person will do X, Y, and Z because they are our significant other, our husbands, wives, boyfriends, whatever. And that just doesn't happen that way. So I get that it's very frustrating. That it is unfortunate, but that's how it is. But I thought it was a great question. And really the answer, in my opinion, is going to be based around the individual and what they bring, what they do, what is their, if they're wallowing, which we all love to wallow, it's super hard. It's super hard to be in that role, and because you also get some grief from the people that you're trying to help, because we just want someone to take the burden, and nobody is suited for doing that. The only people that can do that is us, and we just have to work through things. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, and we have to start working toward that better place, and continually work toward that better place. But if you're not doing anything, you're not doing self-care. You're not putting yourself in a position where you're giving in instead of pushing back. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things is do we give in to our what our depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, whatever the DSM-5 is, what do we do with that? Because ultimately it's not our caregiver's responsibility. The people who we have chosen to live with, our husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, they are not caregivers. They did not, they do it, and that's part of the agreement, but that's not why they got together with us in the first place. They didn't say, that guy, I know he's going to fall apart any day, and I'm going to be there to pick him up. Oh, I can't wait for that to happen. Or that's not something that people do. They don't. People do sign up for strife. I was in the military. I get that, but you also get something out of that. There's reason. So at the end of the day, it was a great question. I hope I answered it to a degree, because we need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to have the message that our mental illness doesn't define us. We define us, and that for us, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit more effort than the normal person has to deal with it. Has to put in on a daily basis, but we have to do these things every day. We have to do self-care, every day we have to monitor where we're at, and we have to give ourselves the tools and resources to manage our own mental illness so that other people don't have to do it as much. And we're all going to need help. We're all going to need a helping hand from day to day, from time to time. But we also have to start relying on ourselves. We have to get out of bed. And believe me, I know the effort involved with that. So don't think I take that lightly. We have to get out of bed, and we have to move forward, and we have to do the things that help our family and make us who we are. So my answer is to encourage them to do the best they can in managing their own situation. And then, rely on others. Know that they're there, but really try and make yourself proud by doing something that's been very hard. And I'm proud of you. Whenever I talk to somebody and I mean, just sometimes getting out of bed, getting a shower, making a phone call or making an appointment or whatever it is, I understand the grand scale of some of these efforts that are made. Regular people, they don't have to. I mean, that's not an impossible task. But for those of us with mental illness, there's some things that are exceedingly challenging to do. So do them. They are challenging, and sometimes they really do suck, but we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to authorize ourselves to be in charge of our own situation. So anyway, that's the case. But yes, it's really hard on the caregivers. So we do what we can, and we keep fighting. Yeah. All right. Have a great day, and we will see you in the next chapter. Take care.